Hey guys, Forrest Proctor here. You're watching Assume Your Power, and today I want to talk about how I manifested my dream truck, the Jeep Gladiator there. So yeah, stick around, we'll get into it. Okay guys, I got into the law of attraction and manifestation about a year ago and started manifesting little things kind of like parking spaces and a couple clients from my video production company and things like that. But I was actually really fed up with the vehicles that I actually had here at my home and the vehicle that I was driving as my primary, which was a Chevrolet Traverse. If you know anything about the 2015 to 2017 Chevrolet Traverses, they're just really problem prone, especially with the transmission. I actually had the transmission replaced and the second transmission was starting to act a little funny, and so I was just fed up with that. And then on top of that, I had a Infiniti QX56 from 2006 just sitting, and so I'd have to do maintenance on it. I had a Ford Ranger, and then I had my wife's car, which she drives, and so I had a bunch of cars and I really just didn't need all of them. And my dream was to have a Jeep Gladiator, just because I like the look of the cars. I like Jeeps. I've had a Jeep before, and yeah, just really liked it. So that's what I wanted, but I didn't really see a way to get it. Which, with the law of attraction, as you know, or as you'll learn, you don't really have to know how the dots go, because you're going to connect the dots looking back. You live in the end result. So I decided that the Jeep Gladiator was something that I wanted to manifest, and it was kind of big. They run between $40,000 and $70,000 depending on which one you get. And if you're wondering why there's flies everywhere, I'm always sweating, it's because this is Mississippi and I'm outside because the lighting's good, and of course you can see my Jeep from here, and I've got birds everywhere, so you're gonna hear a lot of wildlife. But yeah, getting into how I manifested this Jeep. I had just got into vision boarding via the advice of Andrea Schulman. If you're not familiar with her YouTube channel, I will put it in the link below. She's super awesome. She really breaks things down in a simple way. She has a great sense of humor. I really like her. But basically, I started putting together, a vision board of things I wanted. And I can go through a bunch of other videos about stuff that was on that vision board that I now have, and I don't think there's anything on the vision board that I don't have, so I need to update my vision board, which I'm gonna do this week. So I printed out a picture of a Jeep Gladiator, and actually I printed it out with a camper shell like you see here, and this one did not come with a camper shell. We're gonna get into how I got the camper shell on the cheap too. This is crazy. So I put all that in the vision board, but I had so many cars, it just didn't make sense. Like, how was I gonna get a new car? That would mean I'd have 5 cars. And so I just said, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get the Jeep Gladiator. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. So fast forward, my neighbor approached me and said, hey, I really like your truck. I would love to purchase it. It would be a good work truck for me on my job. And I was like, oh, perfect. I love the truck, but I don't use it a lot, and it doesn't have a place for me to put my video gear, so it doesn't really facilitate my job. Out here, on the ranch we call it, I've got other means of getting stuff around, so I didn't really need the truck. I like the truck, but I sold the truck to him, and I can see it from here. He's driving it, he loves it, everything's great with that. So I got about $2,000 for that old truck. And then I decided, this was kind of a long shot. I was like, you know what, let me take my 2006 Infiniti to the local car dealership, the local Jeep dealership, and see if they'll trade it in for like $1,000. I mean, who knows? You never know. So I took it there, and I had looked up before that at like peak value, it was probably worth $4,500, and it was a good car. I love the car, but it wasn't in perfect condition. So I thought, how much am I gonna get for this thing? Well, I took it up there, and then the guy said, I can give you $8,500. $8,500 for this? And I was like, do you want to go drive it first? And he said, no, it's fine. We'll give it to you. That was crazy. And then he said, is there any other cars you want to trade in? And I just like freaked out a little bit. I was like, what about a Chevy Traverse? And he said, bring it up here. I brought it up. They didn't drive either of the cars. I ended up getting, close to like $16,000 for the 2 cars that went towards my Jeep. And within 24 hours, I had gotten rid of all 3 of those cars, minus, the car that my wife drives, because we're going to keep that. and I had this in my driveway. And so my mind was just blown. I went and looked at my vision board and I was like, check, you know? But the point was, I had put that into my reality with the vision board, and I had made the decision that I was gonna get it. And then I just kind of took the steps as they came. And now that I have it, I can look back, as Steve Jobs would say, you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect the dots looking backwards. Looking backwards, I can see how it all lined up, and now I have the Jeep. But then I ran into another issue. The Jeep was great, but if you know anything about these, they don't have the camper shell on the back. They actually just have like a truck bed, which is awesome. But I needed somewhere to put all my cameras, my lights, my tripods, all that good stuff. And so I was in the market for a camper shell. This is about a month after that, after the initial purchase of the Jeep. And, you know, I had looked online, and the camper shells, if you look up these camper shells, they run from $2,800 for the real low end ones to $6,000. So they're really not cheap. And after spending, you know, putting some money down on the Jeep, you know, I was not feeling just putting down $5,000 for a camper shell. Just a shell. That's pretty much it with a door. You know, I wasn't feeling that. So I just I told myself, I said, you know what? I'm gonna find a camper shell under $600. It might be used, you know, it might be at a local parts place. I'm gonna find one. Well, about a week later, I had my Craigslist set up to notify me when certain keywords come on. And somebody in Mobile, Alabama, which is about 20 miles from me, had a camper shell, a black camper shell, black gloss, if you will, camper shell, and he wanted $500 for it. And normally when you see that kind of thing, it can be kind of scammy, you know? So I was like, this is probably not real, but I'm gonna give the guy a call. I called the guy, he's got a real Cajun accent, and he's like, yeah, come look at it after I get off work. Well, I go to his house to look at it. I take a friend, of course. You always do that whenever you're buying stuff on Craigslist. Take somebody with you, you know, like give somebody else the address you're going to, so you don't turn up, they at least know where you went. But lo and behold, he had this camper shell sitting in his garage, which was a perfect color match, as you'll see in this B-roll I'm gonna shoot, to my Jeep. And he wanted $500 for it. And so, I gave the guy $500, we put it on the Jeep, and I was gone. And now I have, and if you look up that camper shell on ARE's website, it's $4,200. And it's basically brand new, perfect condition. And so that was just like another example of something I manifested for this vehicle. And the vehicle has been absolutely amazing for my business, because it's like you have a trunk basically, which is what I had in the Chevy Traverse, which I used to stack, you know, tripods and cameras up to the ceiling. Now I just have a giant trunk, kinda, you know, basically without the climate control feature, which, you know, I can always add that later, but I don't keep my gear in there for any extended period of time. So yeah, that's how I manifested the Jeep, and I'm really loving it. And you know, you've probably seen some shots that I'm layering in on this, so you can kind of see what it's all about. But my advice would be is to learn how to make decisions. A lot of people, it's, you know, I'll start that business when, you know, I'll buy that car when, you know, when I've got the money, or, you know, when I'm in a position to do it, or whatever. There's never a good time, you know. The best time is now. Decide that's what you're gonna do, and then envision it, believe it, conceive it, achieve it, right? If you guys are into the law of attraction, law of assumption, at any point you'll understand these concepts. But yeah, I'm super happy with the Jeep. If you're not happy with your vehicle, don't limit yourself by the circumstances that you're in that moment. Because I had 4 cars that I was doing maintenance on. Every one of them I was paying 3 notes on these things, and now I'm down to 1 note, the car of my dreams basically. And it does make a statement too with my clients, like not to try to be boastful, but it kind of shows that like I'm doing work for people and I can afford this. So it's like, oh, he's actively doing video projects. It's not like I'm pulling up in a hoopty, which I've had my share of you know, hoopties or whatever you want to call them. But anyways, yeah, I hope this video helped you out, and I hope that wherever you are in life, you realize that you don't have to stay there, you know? It's not horizontal, it's vertical. You know, imagine what you want, imagine the person you want to be and the place you want to be, and it'll happen. So if you got value out of this, please like, subscribe, comment. All those things are very much appreciated. I'm working on the website right now. It should be up by the time you watch this video. And other than that, don't forget, assume your power. Peace.